Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
So thank you very very much. Yeah, that was very nice. Prabhupada Pran is on his way up, so it's probably doing something just now. Very hands-on. Because you've got hands-on the job. So welcome everybody. Glad you're here. I'm glad you didn't go if you were here yesterday. And you just come today. And glad you came today. And stay as long as you can. So some of the people here, this will be the first time that they'll have been to an event like this where we glorify spiritual personality like Srila Prabhupada. So hopefully they'll enjoy it. Generally we find that's pivotal in people's lives is how much they connect with Srila Prabhupada really determines how far they go in Krishna consciousness, because everything's in the books. And if you don't see any interest in reading the books, you don't go very far. Because the books tell you to chant Hare Krishna, they tell you who Krishna is, give you the pastimes. So it's really Srila Prabhupada who's created access to Krishna consciousness. So it really is foundational to everything, and will be for many years to come into the future as well. Our spiritual life is underpinned by our grasp of the significance of Srila Prabhupada. So, as I'm sure you're all aware, so we have a book here that we've put together, and that's got some of our offerings in, plus anybody else that has written an offering and would like to read it out. Anybody here that's not in our book that wants to say something? No one wrote anything spontaneous or wants to say anything there? Janie? Okay. Is that the only one? Okay. So that's usually nothing. So, who's going to sing Guru Parampara? Because we could offer the book. Vyasa? Okay. So we have last minute production drama and nobody there, temple program. Just because they're doing something else at the same time. Is Raghunatha? He's in Ashram, okay. Just now coming. That's just so you get the feeling that you're in India. When you come to visit the temple, it's an Indian experience. Everyone is just now coming. And we follow Indian time as well. I was in India and the bus was at 1:45, so we got there at 1:30 just to be on the safe side. And about 3:30, and everybody started wandering off. And I said, I thought the bus was, and they said, oh yeah, 1:45 today or tomorrow. So that was the end of that. If they tried that in this country, there'd be a big fuss, you know. It's like, we'll get back to what we were doing and try again tomorrow. Okay. So we've got a nice poem that we can read out just now, Srila Prabhupada's poem. Do you have that handy, Ashish?
It's in the book.
Yeah, we'll have the book. So I'll wait just a second, you will read the from Srila Prabhupada's book. So this is entitled Appreciating Sri Guru as a Divine Manifestation of the Eternal Veda Vyasa. So we had a nice Balaram appearance the other day, and Guru Tafa came up, which was really interesting. Is Jiva Tafa? There's Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva, and there's Guru Tattva. And Guru Tattva is the Jiva empowered by Balaram. That's Jiva Tattva becomes Guru Tattva. Interesting. So in the Padma Purana, it is stated, Namami Devam Karuna Nidanam, Tamala Bhavanam, Sahitra Bhaktaram, Apra Samsara Samudra Bhajamahe Bhagavata Swarupam. I bow down to that Lord, the ocean of mercy, whose colour is like that of a tamil tree, and who appears in this world for the welfare of all. I worship him as the bridge for crossing the unfathomable ocean of material existence. The Srimad Bhagavatam has appeared as his very self. The Srimad Bhagavatam is currently, amongst reputable scholars of Indiology, accepted as the crest jewel of that category of texts known as the Puranas. Puranas were usually presented as being of much less importance than the Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva Vedas. But now, with so many of Srila Prabhupada's erudite acolytes counted amongst the ranks of global academia, that perspective is deemed anachronistic. The Vedas themselves declare that the Puranas and Itihasas are the fifth branch of the eternal corpus of Shabda Brahman. Just as in ancient times the self-realized rishis, whilst in samadhi, were honored by acting as portals, enabling the Vedas to descend from the apocryphal realm to the realm of material manifestation, Srila Vyasadeva in his incarnation as the son of Parasara Muni was the conduit by which Shri Radha Shyamasundar appeared in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. Not only was he the channel of reception, but as the literary incarnation of God, he refashioned this transcendental encyclopedia in such a way that all persons inundated by the unrelenting deluge of Kali Yuga can grasp a big enough chunk of the text to keep themselves afloat. Sasamhitam Bo Bhagavatam Kritivano Kramya Chapvajam Sukam Ajapayam Asa Nivriti Narakam Muni. The great sage Vyasadeva, after compiling the Srimad Bhagavatam and revising it, taught to his own son, Shukadeva Goswami, who was already engaged in self-realization. Thanks to the mercy of the Lord in the form of powerful internet search engines, a lazy monolingual like me can peruse with wonder the cyclic panoramas of Veda-Vyasa's literary output as he compiles, revises, condenses, and teaches the various manifestations of the Vedas in ways he contemplates as appropriate for time, place, and candidates. Who's this written by? In the Matsya Purana, we read Kalanagrahanam Matsya Paranasya Dvijotama Vyasa Rupam Aham Kritva Samharami Yuga Yuga. O best of the Brahmins, understanding that the Puranas would gradually become forgotten in every yuga, I appear in the form of Vyasa and condense it. The same point is raised in the Vyavya Samhita, Sanshipaya Chato Vedams Chato Da Vyavya Prabhu. The Lord, who is the most intelligent, then divided the Vedas into four. He therefore became known as Vedavyas. He also summarized the Puranas into 400,000 verses, which are still available in the heavenly domain in the form of 1 billion verses. So, in witnessing the life and legacy of Srila Prabhupada, we are privy to the supremely magnanimous aspect of Sri Krishna Bhagavan, who is addressed as Bhuri Karunya Nimalata Chajan by Gajendra the elephant. Srila Prabhupada describes the unfathomable compassion in great detail in the purport. It is the causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord that he always tries to bring us back home, back to Godhead. God is liberated, and he tries to make us liberated. Although he is constantly trying, we refuse to accept his instructions. Salvadaman Paritraja, Mam Laikam Sharanam Raja. Nonetheless, he has not become angry. That's a relief, isn't it? Therefore, he is described here as Buri Karunaya, unlimitedly merciful in delivering us from this miserable material condition of life and taking us back home, back to Godhead. Today, as we celebrate the exemplary determination and dedication of Krishna's great soldier, our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, we can perhaps grasp that through his establishment of the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, the Sri Vedavyass Shakti is manifesting this Buddhi Karunaya aspect of Shri Radha Shyamasundara's mercy. His fame is spreading throughout the three worlds. Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam is now expanded into many billions of verses. No wonder the demigods and eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya have come to participate in his Leela. Jai. So, if there's somebody turns up today and we're not sure who it is, it may be a demigod, so just watch out for that. Srila Prabhupada Ki. So that was the meaning of Vyasa Puja put together by Ramananda Prabhu. And I'm just looking to see if... Okay, so this is the offering by Srila Prabhupada to his Guru Maharaj Bhaktisiddhanta. And he made this offering in 1935. Would you like to read this one, actually? This is Shama Sundar Prabhu, the driving force behind the Go Show. And many Go Shows, actually. But this one anyway. Humble temple in Bali.
Adore ye all the happy day. Blessed than heaven, sweeter than May. When he appeared at Puri, the holy place, my Lord and Master, his divine grace. O my Master, the evangelic angel, give us thy light, light up thy candle. Struggle for existence, a human race, the only hope is divine grace. Misled we are, all going astray, save us, Lord, our fervent pray. Wonder thy ways to turn our face, adore thy feet, your divine grace. Forgotten Krishna, we fallen souls, paying most heavy the illusion's toll. Darkness around, all untrace, the only hope is divine grace. Message of service thou hast brought, a healthful life as Chaitanya wrought. Unknown to all, it's full of grace, that's your gift, your divine grace. Absolute is sentient, thou hast proved. Impersonal calamity thou hast moved. This gives us a life anew and fresh. Worship thy feet, your divine grace. Had you not come, who had told the message of Krishna, forceful and bold? That's your right, you have the mace. Save me, a fallen, your divine grace. The line of service is drawn by you is pleasing and healthy like morning dew. The oldest of all, but in new dress, miracle done, for divine grace. Srila Prabhupada Ki, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Ki.
So Prabhupada was going to speak about the meaning of Vyasa Puja. So while he's coming, I'll say all the things he was going to say, and then he can say them again, just to make sure you get them, So some of us have been here quite a few times for Vyasa Puja, and for a lot of us, this is the most special day in the year. It's usually the best feast as well, at least from my point of view. There's a book called Coming Now, and it's all the dreams that different devotees have had about Srila Prabhupada. It's quite interesting, although quite a lot of us in the room. Anyone here meet Srila Prabhupada? Somebody said that Sudarshan was there when he was very young with Srila Prabhupada. Is that true? Do you know that? I know he's in the kitchen, but was he there when Srila Prabhupada was there? Yeah, he was saying, yeah. So we're all connected to Srila Prabhupada, even though we didn't physically see him. We have the Association of his disciples that did. So that's our link. And then as those move on, and there'll be us left, and then more after that. and then there will be no one who has direct contact with Srila Prabhupada. Then our contact with Srila Prabhupada will be through his books, especially his books. And there's an interesting discussion right now. Shiv Ramos is discussing what is more significant, to hear the spiritual master or to read. Because Srila Prabhupada invested so much of his energy in writing his books, then there's a special significance in doing that. So our connection really to Srila Prabhupada is through his books. And in this book coming now, it's about devotees that have had dreams, and Srila Prabhupada has come to them in dreams, which is quite interesting because that can be very significant. And one of them is a story of Srila Prabhupada's shoes went missing in New Vrindavan. You know that story, yeah? And anyway, at that time, some of the standards weren't being kept as high as they should be. And this little old lady was in. She'd just come to see. She wasn't into Krishna consciousness. I think she was a Catholic, and she'd just come to see it. And she heard this voice saying, "Take me away, take me away." So she was looking around, and then she saw the shoes, so she put them in the bag quick, and she took them away. And later on, when things got better and the standards came back up, then the shoes said, "Okay, take me back." I think they appeared in a dream to her, and then she came back and she put the shoes there. So Srila Prabhupada is still very alive in Iskcon, and he'll communicate in different ways to let you know that he is there and that we do have a relationship with him. We all have a relationship with Srila Prabhupada, and he's aware of our service, and he's aware of our hearts also. When we're praying, Srila Prabhupada is hearing that. So that's something to meditate on, isn't it? Something nice to meditate on. Okay, so we could have a bhajan just now. There's Guru Parampara. Do you have a Vyasa here just now? No? Just now coming. So we could have Oh Hey Vaishnav Thakur, right? Tell me person. It's just here now. Okay. So we can sing Oh Hey Vaishnav Thakur just now. You got it? Oh, bring it. So that was a cue to remind everyone to switch their phones on silent. Oxygen.
Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki. So I'd just like to ask everybody to give full attention to the program. If you need a minute or two to finish your conversations, you can wait. So the next part of the program, Java's going to sing this nice bhajan, Shri Guru Parampara. She's chanting the names of Guru Parampara, all the way from Krishna, Brahma, Narad, down to Srila Prabhupada. And while that bhajan's going on, then we'll be offering the books to Srila Prabhupada. We have a local book, which was also from Krishna above in Last Minute Productions, courtesy of Sahil. Is Sahil here? Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, he really did a nice job of putting it together at the last minute. And the international Vyasa Puja book and this other book, Srila Prabhupada Tributes. So these will be offered to Srila Prabhupada while Javid sings this bhajan Shri Guru Prabhupada. And the words will be up here if you can see that, try and follow it. I'm going to do a call and response with this, Javid. Okay. So after that, then, I think we've already read Srila Prabhupada's offering. Adore you. So that sets the mood. Srila Prabhupada is setting the mood as how we glorify the spiritual master. And then will be bhajan Ohi Vaishnava Thakur, which is typically a bhajan in glorification of the spiritual master, in recognition of how the spiritual master empowers the disciple. And there will be some readings of the Vyasa Puja offerings, either from the book or if anyone's getting them written and want to say something spontaneously. And then we'll have another bhajan, Gurudev Kripavindidiya, more readings of the Vyasa Puja offerings, and then the feast will be offered to Srila Prabhupada here, and at that time we'll also chant the Guru Vastak in the evening melody. And then Guru Puja and Gora Arti combined together, and then Prasad feast. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa Puja Mahamahotsav ki.
Krishna hoite chaturmukha hoy, Krishna sevana-mukha, Brahma hoite naradera mati. Narada hoite Vyasa, Madhvako he Vyasa jasa, Punapragya Padmanabha, gati. Vihari Madhava Banse Akshobhya Paramahanse Shishya Boli Angikara Ore. Akshobhya Shishya Jaya Chitaname Parichaya Taradasya Jnana Sindhu Tore. Ahoite Dayanidhi Taradasa Vidyanidhi Rajendra Hoilota Hoite. Tara Kinkora Jaya Damaname Parichaya Parampara Jano Balo Mate. Jaya Dhamma Dasya Kyati Shipuro Shotama Jati Sahoite Brahmanya Tirtha Suri. Yasatita Tara Dasa Lakshmi Pati Vyasa Dasa Tahaite Madhavendra Puri. Madhavendra Puri Bada Shishabora Sri Shwara Nityananda Sri Advaita Vigo. Ishvara Purike Danya Korile Sri Chaitanya Jagadguru Gora Maha Prabhu. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Rupanuga Jane Raji Vana. Vishwambara Priyankara Shri Swarupa Damodara Shri Goswami Rupa Sanatana. Rupa Priya Mahajana Jiva Raghunatana Tara Priya Kavi Krishna Dasa. Krishna Jasa Priya Vara Narottama Seva Para Jarapada Vishwanatha Asha. Vishwanatha Bhakta Sata Baladeva Jagannatha Tara Priya Sri Bhakti Vinoda. Mahabhagavata Vara Shri Gora Kishora Vara Hari Bhajane Tejara Moda. Iharam Haramangsa Gorangera Nija Bangsa Tadera Charane Mama Kati. Ami Seba Udasina Namete Tridandidina Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Sarasvati. Shri Vashabhana Vibhara Sarasevya Seva Para Tahara Dayita Dasa Nama. Chara Prajan Pracharako Shri Bhakti Vedanta Namo Pachita Janete Joya Dhamma. Krishna Bhakti Jumukha Krishna Sevanamukha Brahma Hoy Chinadadera Mati. Narada Haite Vyasa Madhvako He Vyasa Dasa Unaprakya Padmanabha Gati. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
next part of the program is we're going to call devotees up to read their Vyasa Pidgeot offering. So if you haven't done this before, then basically you come up and you pay your obeisances to Prabhupada, and then you come to this microphone and read your offering to Srila Prabhupada. So we'll do that for a little while, and then we're going to have another bhajan, Gurudev Kripa Bindagil. So we'll try and do this in alphabetical order. So Shri Krishna Das, present.
Please accept my humble obeisances, so glorious to your divine grace. This year, more and more thoughts of you aboard the Jaladuta come to mind. How brave and kind and how unreservedly resolved you were to follow your Guru Maharaj's order. It's hard to imagine what would have happened in our lives had you not come across to us. So many, in fact. In fact, all of the living entities on the planet would have suffered even more with no hope in this dark, dark age. You have asked us to show our love for you, and that is only reasonable. You have accepted we have love to some degree for you, and you understand we are heavily compromised by our conditioning and bad upbringings, sinful activity, sinful philosophy, sinful food, and sinful hearts, all separating us so much from our loving relationship with God. So you didn't ask us to show our love by chanting purely, by distributing millions of books, or even by opening many centers or following the rules and regulations scrupulously. You asked us to simply cooperate. The more uncooperative we are, the more we show how much love we don't have for you. So on this special day, I humbly beg for the ability to do this. Appreciation is proactive cooperation, and our true humility will allow us to do this more and more. You came to bring us pure love, motivated only by pure love. And this love is a science, not a sentimental, imaginative affair. You have given us everything and asked for just a particle in return. As infinitesimal sparks, a lot of us are struggling even to do this, ready to offer respect to all others and humbly cooperate. The ability to do this will be how much we love you and how much you love us. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Next we have Ashish. And after that one is Evie. Is Evie here? Yeah.
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Pranamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Prasarani Vishesha Srimati Prabhupada. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances and tell me that you are divine with this week. I can never thank you enough, Srila Prabhupada, for coming into my life. Thank you, Prabhupada, for picking me filthy soul and bestowing upon me your causeless mercy. I do not deserve any of this, Prabhupada, the lovely community of devotees, but it is only by your causeless mercy. You possess unlimited transcendental qualities. I am extremely fallen to glorify you, Prabhupada, but again it is your causeless mercy that you are continuing to bless me. Had not you taken the hardship of going to America and propagating the cult of Mahaprabhu, the teachings of Mahaprabhu, the message of Godhead, and loving devotional service unto Lord Shri Krishna, where would have I been? Prabhupada, you fulfill all the teachings, instructions, messages of the scriptures of your Guru Maharaj and Lord Sri Krishna. You are the embodiment and continue to demonstrate Yasya Deve Parabhakti Yatha Deve Tatha Guru. Kasyate Katita Yatha Prakashante Mahatmana. Cannot imagine, comprehend the Bhagavad Buddhi you have for your Guru Maharaj. For faith, conviction, attachment, love, eagerness, bonding, surrender and relationship you have with your Guru Maharaj. And bless me, Prabhupada, to take shelter in the Guru Parampara and his be of use to the service to the Guru and Gaurang. Divine Vyasa Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Aye. Back to you.
So I thought to myself how to possibly use words in order to further glorify a being such as you, Prabhupada. And I came up empty, or so I thought. Really, what I learned was to realize was that the way to glorify a supreme being such as you wouldn't be through something as insufficient as regular words, but to say thank you in as many ways as possible with deeds instead, each and every day. Jai Shri Prabhupada, Om Banave Namaha.
Next we have is Ishan, he's in the kitchen. Not surprising. But if you're going to call him, then you can call Jagannath Priya as well, because she's also in the kitchen. Jagannath Priya, you here? Yeah. Try to hide in the back. Yeah. Your number's been called. I'd like to also take the opportunity to thank the devotees for writing their offerings at the last minute. Normally we get a couple of months' notice. We still write them at the last minute anyway. But this time the devotees really had no choice. So they did very well. And Prabhupada says in the Spiritual Master and Disciple, there's a quote from one of Prabhupada's books where he says that the disciple should be ready and willing to glorify the Spiritual Master at a moment's notice, because it's just so natural. We don't have to think about it, we can just immediately do it, because we always live in that constant appreciation of what the Spiritual Master has done for us.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila, all goes to your divine grace, all goes to your Iskcon society. Every time I think of how you came to the West and spread Krishna consciousness all over the world in only 10 years, I'm amazed. How was it possible? You're indeed empowered by Krishna to spread the holy name and the process of bhakti to so many souls in such a dynamic way. I hope I can please you with my little contribution to serving the deities and devotees here at Kurunabhavan. Please bless me to be faithful to your instructions and keep me serving your Iskcon society all my days. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for saving me.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jambavan.
Omagyanatimirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chakshuram Militum Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dear Srila Prabhupada, once again I am here before you to thank you for what you have given us. I am so grateful to still be here after all this time. I am so unqualified to stand before you, Srila Prabhupada. At this time, I am trying to be of some assistance to the Karuna Bhavan devotees and help them to make Karuna Bhavan a thriving and thriving, dynamic eco-farm filled with happy devotees, and it is happening. I know you love this to happen. You expressed your desire in so many ways, so many occasions, for farm communities and natural living. And now, with great joy and happiness, the devotees at Karuna Bhavan are making this happen. This is a wonderful thing. Hopefully, also, there will be cows to produce milk, and there will be a massive interest in this farm. Devotees and non-devotees, for non-devotees and devotees alike. This will bring about people to take interest in natural way of life and allow devotees to promote Krishna consciousness way of life. It is all thanks to you, Srila Prabhupada. I think you would have been happy to see things developing in this way. I would also like to make a special mention, Srila Prabhupada, to the core team of devotees in Karuna Bhavan, who have worked tirelessly through thick and thin to make this community a success. I won't mention their names, there are too many, but everyone knows who they are. Once again, thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity to serve Karuna Bhavan devotees. These are exciting times, Srila Prabhupada. I hope you will be pleased. I'm praying that I can be of some service to the devotees and make Karuna Bhavan a great success and make you happy, Srila Prabhupada. Also, if you could bless me with the energy to keep on doing some book distribution for you. As I'm getting a little older, my body's starting to feel wear and tear, but it's not the greatest setback, and I hope that I can personally keep on doing a little book distribution and help others to do a little book distribution as well, because this reaches out to the people in society who are waiting for the real answers to why they've come to this planet and for the reason for their existence, because your books were for such a thing, Srila Prabhupada. And I am going to happily try and keep on doing it and help others to do it. So the devotees at Karuna Bhavan have worked over the years, and it's exemplary, and I hope to follow in their great footsteps and bring about peace and harmony to this much troubled world through your amazing teachings. Going on and on further, we have seen a little success here, and I'm hoping someday to see thousands of people come up the hill, and I'm sure they will, and we'll start a new trend in Britain at least about the cow protection. And we're one of 3 places in Britain which has started this trend. One of 3 places, one being the Bhaktivedanta Mana, one being Leicester, and now Karuna Bhavan. So people have got something to work for, look forward to, and to be proud. You have given us all these things, Srila Prabhupada, too many to mention. So I thank you once again for tolerating me and giving me the chance to stay and serve you to the best of my ability. All glory be to Srila Prabhupada's Transcendental Book Distribution. Ki Jai. Your humble servant, Jambavan Das.
Is Ishan here? Jabat?
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your wonderful name, form, qualities, pastimes, and paraphernalia. For 34 years, I've had the inconceivably great fortune of seeing your pastimes unfold throughout my Prabhupada Desh, and the equally mind-boggling good fortune of hearing how your desire to make the whole world Vaikuntha is becoming manifest. In your own life, you proved that one can be situated on an elevated platform of bliss and transcendental knowledge, while the body is very weak and diseased. How can there be any anxiety for us when we know that Krishna is reciprocating with the desire of his pure devotee? Krishna is rolling out the 7 purposes of Iskcon right before our eyes. I used to translate Ebe Jasha Gushuk Tribhuvana as may your fame be spread throughout the 3 worlds, until a senior devotee corrected me, after which I changed it to your fame is spread throughout the 3 worlds. However, it is not clear whether spread is an adverb, an adjective, or a verb. It could be interpreted that the dharma of your character is such that your devotees will always relish the task of distributing knowledge of your glories and your teachings throughout the 3 worlds. I am experiencing ever-increasing enthusiasm to do just that, and I strongly recommend that others dive headlong into this totally absorbing task. When Krishna sees that we have understood at least the outline of your mission, and when Krishna sees that we are eager to broadcast the knowledge seeds from which your mission will grow and spread, he puts the ball into our hands and lets us run faster than we ever imagined possible. Now at Krishna Eco Farm, many aspiring team members are, like rugby wingers and centres, running alongside us, ready to take the ball when necessary. Yes, Srila Prabhupada, your fame is indeed being spread throughout the 3 worlds eternally, and may we all be eternally blessed to run with that most wonderful ball. I can't believe that I was hiding on the bench for so long. Too weak for the scrum, too slow for the wing. Your crafty fly half eternally. Shavad Vasidas. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jainanda.
Omagana Tirandasya Janajana Salakaya Shakshurum Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutali Shmati Bhakti Vedante Swami Dinamane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachatvisatarane. Dear Srila Prabhupada, another year has passed, and once again it is the most auspicious day, that of your Sri Vyasa Puja. You are always very kind to the Gurukul children, feeding them cookies and sweets from your plate. I must confess that I too have to beg a little piece of your mercy, as I haven't had too much time to prepare this offering. There is one thing I'd like to highlight at the outset, and that is you could always be relied on to show us the exact science of Krishna consciousness. In your Bhaktivedanta purports, your lectures, or in your person as the founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. In your lifetime, you met with much success. You were able to impress upon your followers the importance of following the spiritual master's instructions and how to persevere through the struggle to implement such orders. If you ever get money, print books. That was one part of your spiritual master's instructions. and just how tightly you adhered to that instruction. So thank you for your rigor in sticking to that instruction. Book distribution is fun and easy, and though you claim that you don't add anything of your own to the teachings that descend through the parampara, the line of disciplic succession, I have noticed very often just how adept you are at distilling down the philosophy and then presenting it as afresh on the printed page. So thank you for making all the literature, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Krishna book, Sri Isapanisad, Sri Upadeshamrita, and the Nectar Devotion available to one and all. Everything that one needs to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is there on the printed page, simply for the simple. Thanks again for your very great service in presenting this literature and in making it available to the common people of this otherwise unlucky age. Thanks also for your many other notable achievements. Sri Vyasa Puja ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, your servant Jayananda Das.
This one's oh hey, it's oh, isn't it? O Venerable Vaishnav, devotee of Krishna, O ocean of mercy, be merciful unto your servant. Give me the shade of your lotus feet and purify me. I hold on to your lotus feet. Teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. I do not find the strength to carry on alone the Sankirtan of the holy name of Hari. Please bless me by giving me just 1 drop of faith with which to obtain the great treasure of the holy name of Krishna. Krishna is yours. You have the power to give him to me. I am simply your servant, running behind you, shouting, Krishna, Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. O He Vaishnava Thakur, Dayara Sagara, Heda Sekana Kori. Dayara Sagara, Heda Sekana Kori. O He Vaishnava Thakura, Dayara Sagara, Vedase Karuna Kori. Diya Pada Chaya, Shodoya Maya, Tomara Charana Dori. Diya Pada Chaya, Shodoya Maya, Tomara Charana Dori. Chaya Bagadomi, Chaya Dosha Shodi, Chaya Guna Hodasi. Chaya Bagadomi, Chaya Dosha Shodi, Chaya Guna Hodasi. Chaya Satsanga, Dehoe Amari, Osichi Sangarashi.
Jaya Satsanga, Ehoe Amari, Oshichi Sangarashi. Ehoe Amari, Ekaki Amara, Nahi Payabana, Harinama Sankirtane. Ekaki Amara, Nahi Payabana, Harinama Sankirtane. Nahi Payabana, Harinama Sankirtane. Tumi Kripa Kori, Shradabindu Diya, Meho Krishna Namadane. Tumi Kripa Kori, Shradabindu Diya, Deho Krishna Namadane. Diya, Deho Krishna Namadane. Krishna Saitomara, Krishna Titi Paro, Tomara Shakatiyache. Krishna Saitomara, Krishna Titi Paro, Tomara Shakatiyache. Amito Kanga, Krishna Krishna Bole, Jayatava Pachi Pache. Amito Kangala, Krishna Krishna Bole, Jayatava Pachi Pache. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki.
So continue with the offerings. I'd like to now call back to you, Laura.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your divine grace. I often wonder where I would be if it wasn't for you, Srila Prabhupada, my wonderful grandfather Guru. Upon your voyage to the West, you truly showed you're simply the best. Old age and sickness never stopped you for your mission to reach petition. You never gave up on your quest, and you came with such jest. To give us the holy name is what brought you your fame. You lit the flame in my heart because you showed me what was smart. The pandemic was epic. I came here to quarantine to get clean from the dust in my heart. That experience was serene. Trials and tribulations, we all have them. But without you, our Guru, our situations are just frustrations. Our expectations and temptations will only add to our limitations. You have given us all we need to succeed. So I plead, please, Srila Prabhupada, I beg you, please let me take shelter of servants before me, and I beg you for just a droplet of mercy from your lotus feet. I don't want to have to repeat. No amount of rhyming words can express my gratitude to you, my gratitude for you. Your message is all I know to be true. Your servant in the service of the servants, Laura. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your lotus feet. Through the turmoil of material life, you're my constant, my anchor. You have given so much in your books and by your living example. Thank you for giving the holy name, even to the most fallen. You kept it simple for the simple, allowing me to find the shelter of my dear Gurudev, these sadhus, and the holy scriptures. On this day, I remember you just as I do on every other day with gratitude. My guide, my grandfather, my rock. The holy names bubble under my tongue and echo endlessly in my mind. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for daring to follow the instructions of your master instead of the masses. Without your example, as a perfect disciple, I would be adrift in the dark ocean of ignorance. Instead, I am in the light and warmth of the home you built for the world. Jai Srila Prabhupada, your holy servant Mohini Devi Vyasa.
Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Prasad, Nirvishesha Sundara, Prasthut. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your divine grace. Your mercy is unlimited. Jagri Guru, Savior of the entire universe. My spiritual master sees his role as simply bringing his disciples into the shelter of your mercy. Krishna is perfectly complete, and as his pure representative, your mercy is also complete. Therefore, all we have to do is bring others to the shade of your shelter. By spreading the Sankirtan movement, then we're bringing others to your mercy, and therefore giving them the chance to return home, back to Godhead. Since my initiation, my main service has been distribution of your books. It is by far the most difficult and most rewarding service I have had the privilege of undertaking, and the realization is slowly dawning on me of how unaware I am of the significance of this transcendental literature that you have graced the world with. By the potency and beauty of this process that you have gifted us, you are engaging fallen conditioned souls like myself in the highest welfare work, Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. Although I may be currently acting mechanically, childishly, or even like a fraud, still, by the potency of Sankirtan and by your blessings, the time may come when I shall get a glimpse of what it means to chant the holy name of the Lord, or place your books in the hand of another conditioned soul. So I simply pray that I may be able to stay within the shelter of Harinam Sankirtan, under the shade of your lotus feet, because there is no other place in all the material worlds that can actually offer any shelter. Thankfully, you thought big, and therefore there's no limit to how big this movement can grow. Once the Earth planet is full of Vaishnavas, then we shall simply start giving the books to the aliens. To love means to serve, and by your love you have enabled us to serve them. Your eternal and insignificant servant, Untitled Chapter. Srila Prabhupada.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your divine grace. Mahajano Yena Gita Sapanta. To follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas is the safe path which you have both instructed and shown by your personal example. In genuine humility, you once said, "My only qualification is that I never changed anything." Your humility struck me as being both practical instruction, that we should not get too intelligent and veer off the path by introducing some aspect which is contrary to devotional service, and also genuine appreciation for your Guru Maharaj by keeping perfectly intact the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Spoken as a true sage of Vedic wisdom, your words are sutras which we can base our life on as we attempt to engage in devotional service. Not changing means we have to put faith in Guru Vani and devotional principles and be patient, all the while resisting the urges of the mode of passion, Rajaguna. In this way, we remain protected from the ill effects of Kali Yuga and Maya. You have made Krishna consciousness simple for all to follow. I remember hearing you questioning a prospective devotee if he liked being at the temple. Yes, he did. Will you join us? I don't know. What is the difficulty? I'm still attached to speculation. Do you want to continue it or stop it? Stop it, and stop. It's that simple. By following the spiritual master's instructions, who is the external manifestation of the Super Soul, we become aligned with the chain of Parampara, and thus connected to Krishna. This is spiritual intelligence. To put faith in a power greater than ourselves, knowing that we are conditioned souls with 4 defects: imperfect senses, tendency to be illusioned, commit mistakes, and we have a tendency to cheat. We cannot therefore trust our mind and senses. In order to go beyond the limitations of the material concept of life, we have to make our actions, words, and desires synonymous with Guru Vani. Therefore, all our opinions, words, likes, dislikes, etc., are only of value when we synchronize them with the words of the spiritual master. This is the spiritual world. I can thus conclude that the only thing stopping me from becoming fully Krishna conscious is myself, or more accurately, misuse of my new independence. Yet, despite my obstinate reluctance to fully surrender, you patiently continue to bestow your mercy upon me by continuing to provide opportunities to move forward in Krishna consciousness. You are the very kind spiritual grandfather, and that encourages me to continue to try offer some service in hope that you may be pleased. Srila Thakur once said, "You can tell the potency of a Vaishnava by how many people he converts into devotees." We have created a worldwide society of devotees to help us all to have devotee association. Even now and for the next 10,000 years, conditioned souls are becoming devotees on account of the spiritual legacy you left behind, namely your books, words, Prasad, Holy Name, and International Society for Krishna Consciousness. I pray that we here in Scotland remain under the protective shade of your divine lotus feet and accept your guidance and that of your representatives. In this way, our lives will be successful by spreading Krishna consciousness throughout every town and village of our Prabhu Data Desh, your insignificant servant. Srila Prabhupada ki. Accept my obeisance as the Lord's Spirit. It's a privilege to walk this earth on this auspicious occasion. I'm forever indebted to you for the mercy you have bestowed on me. Though I am not able to truly understand how fortunate I am for the opportunity to say since your movement, I'm praying to be able to write a few words of gratitude from your life. While I'm not learned, I don't have any Shastri knowledge. I'm growing a firm conviction you're deeply fortunate to have this association, and I pray for guidance on how to best serve you and the community and the devotees. I pray by following the guidance of yourself and the devotees, I will be able to place the poverty and suffering and treat it in the pocket. My respectful obeisances unto you, our spiritual master, servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami. I will kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Dev and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonality and beauty. May I develop the faith and sincerity which is needed to serve you. There could be no way I'm able to repay you for this opportunity, but please let this be no hindrance to my life. Please forgive my offences made countless times and cause this to aspiring back to faith.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my prostrated obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. There are no words to express the gratitude we devotees feel for the many gifts you have given us. The beautiful temples, the ecstatic deity, devotee association, and not least, the wonderful translation of the purport, and many instructions you have left with us to help us advance on the spiritual path. But your greatest gift is your causeless mercy. This material world is an ocean of misery, and by your mercy and grace, you are guiding us across this great ocean. How fortunate we are to have you, the chief leader of Lord Chaitanya's mission in this age, as our guide and savior. I pray that someday I will become worthy of your mercy. I pray to remain your servant and your shepherd.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini. I offer my respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Bhakti Deva and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and ordinary. Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. The conditioned living entity in this material world is very self-absorbed and bewildered by many material desires. Even if it acts selflessly, there is still so much desire to put oneself in the center as someone who is doing those selfless acts. A pure devotee of the Lord like yourself is not materially conditioned and has no longer any selfish desires to fulfill. He acts solely and wholly for the pleasure of the Lord. What is pleasing to the Lord is not different from what is pleasing to spiritual master. Spiritual master is a very confidential devotee of Krishna because of his close connection with his own spiritual master as Krishna. He perfectly knows what is pleasing to Krishna. Those who have developed love for Guru and Krishna make their life and soul to find out what is actually pleasing to them and then act upon it. Your devotion is completely selfless and is fully absorbed and 100% dedicated to pleasing the object of devotion. Therefore, pleasing Krishna and pleasing spiritual master in essence is one. Everything that you did was motivated by the spirit. From the time you met your Guru Maharaj in 1952, we were meditating on the feast. I have read an article written by Lord Guru about Guru. He says the genuine disciple approaches spiritual master and asks how it will please him, and then makes that as his life and soul. One should not avoid such pleasures, thinking that it will be too difficult to execute. You have exemplified such a parallel level of commitment to pleasing your spiritual master that from your first meeting with your Guru, his instruction to share Krishna consciousness in English has stayed with you. And after reading Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti's Thakur commentary on Bhagavad Gita verse 241, it has become your life and soul. You ask your spiritual master again, not so long before he departed. And you received the very same instruction as in 1922, and you have accepted this as a mission of your life. What followed was a lifetime of selfless devotion, trying to make the mission of the spiritual master a reality. You undertook so many personal sacrifices and inconveniences, living in very simple conditions at Radha Damodar temple, where you wrote books and continued receiving messages in forms of dreams and visions to execute the very same mission that you received from Guru. Those who dedicate their life to serving Guru and Krishna feel a lot of personal reciprocation, guidance from Krishna. You said that you always felt the presence of your spiritual master and you have never forgotten Krishna in your life. And you continued in the same spirit when at the age of 69 you crossed the Atlantic Ocean, suffering 2 heart attacks. Generally, people after a heart attack reduce what they are doing significantly. What to speak about 2 heart attacks in a row. However, this haven't stopped you, and you have continued receiving personal assurance of Krishna when you had a vision of him rowing boat and taking Jaladuta ship over Atlantic Ocean. Despite of all this personal attention from Krishna and spiritual master, you never felt special or chosen one. On arrival, you were praying that you feel most unqualified to execute the instruction given, and you are simply praying to the Lord to be the puppet in his hands. The spirit is a foundation of amazing success that followed. The blessings of Guru and Krishna are not becoming bewildered by the potency that comes with the blessings, but always offering credit to them is the secret of sustainable empowerment that you demonstrated to the highest degree. I beg that some of the selfless spirit would touch my heart that I could put aside all selfish desires, pursuits, distractions, and matters, and pride to execute your mission. How I can get mercy that the desire to please you becomes my life. Pure bhakti can only awaken by the mercy of Guru, Krishna, and the holy names. Please let this mercy wash away lust and pride and everything that stands in the way to please you, Guru, devotees, and Krishna. There is so much to be done in your service. However, without your and Krishna's mercy, it cannot become a sustainable reality. Actually, what will become a reality is what is your desire and what is Krishna's desire. These desires will never fail, because Krishna's desire and spiritual master's desire, aligned with Krishna's desire, do not fail. It is predicted that the whole world will be delivered. Kindly let me become an instrument in your hands and hands of devotees. Kindly guide me and direct us here in Scotland so that we can align ourselves with your and Krishna's desire, and not waste time on things that are not your desire and not pleasing to the Lord. Help us to make Iskcon here as you want it and navigate through many modern challenges. And let sincere humility manifest in my heart to never take credit for anything that happens by your and Krishna's blessings. Begging for yours and your representative's mercies, Prabhupada Bhaktidas. Srila Prabhupada.
Ah, 15 Abby.
ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकचक्षुरुन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते भगवान् प्रचारं निर्विशेष शून्यवादपाशं। Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humblest obeisances at the dust of the lotus feet. All glories to your divine grace. Your name and fame is spread all over this world and beyond. By establishing this Krishna consciousness movement, you have given us this golden opportunity to serve Krishna in all aspects of our life. Your books are very practical, easy to understand, with transcendental knowledge through your purports, and remind me of your presence. Your lectures are amazing, nectar for me to hear every day. I feel connected with you whenever I read your books or hear your lectures. They are your gifts to the fallen souls like me. Although born in India, we are very unfortunate to live outside India, and we would have been rotten without knowing the glories of Krishna if you have not spread Iskcon across the West. All glories to you, your love, your movement, your training and knowledge. You are the inspiration and great role model to keep me going in this sinful world. On this auspicious day, I beg you to give me the spiritual knowledge, intelligence, patience to practice Krishna consciousness in a better way and to keep Krishna as a center until I leave this body. I'm struggling to chant quality rounds in the morning. Please guide me to do nice japa for the pleasure of the Lord. I listen to your lectures and study Srimad Bhagavatam scrutinizingly without fail every day. I dedicate this study unto your lotus feet. Now I am memorizing Queen Kunti prayers to Lord Krishna. I will continue to follow the 4 regulative principles and chant at least 16 rounds every day. I promise I do not eat anything other than Krishna Prasadam and read your books on regular basis. Please give me the strength to engage in serving you and Krishna constantly. I also pray you to shower your mercy for my family to grow well in PC and support each other to serve Krishna in the ashram. You crossed continents and oceans alone and elderly to bring Krishna consciousness to the demoniac land where Maya is endless. You are the epitome of kindness, love, faith, tolerance, and courage, and your causeless mercy has inspired us and so many others to keep up the chanting of Krishna's holy name. You said that devotees should remain connected as family, and we are striving to achieve this by holding weekly satsanga, congregational chanting, Sunday feast, and children's classes. Iskcon Edinburgh's Rath Yatra has also become a major event of the summer season, an event that many ask about and look forward to. Srila Prabhupada, we are a small community in Edinburgh, but With your blessings and the continuous support and guidance of Iskcon Scotland, our congregation is slowly growing. Please shower your mercy to grow our Sangha and have a center or temple open in a few years' time. You have given us all we need to go back to Krishna. Your determination to lead by example and your faith in complete surrender to Krishna inspire us daily. And we beg you that continue to bless us so that we may continue to faithfully follow your instructions and inspire others to do the same. Your humble, unqualified servant Abhi.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, I came to take shelter at your lotus feet 6 years ago. Ever since, you have inspired me to serve in many ways and has brought me closer to Krishna. Thank you for always guiding me to the right path, even when things can become very challenging. I will always be grateful to you for being there when I needed it most and providing me with a renewed sense of life. I will strive to continue my services in distributing Krishna Prasada on the streets of London and reading your books. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Brenda?
Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravani Pujani, Namaste, Shri Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to your divine grace on this day, ending the 125th anniversary of your appearance. There are so many books, videos, podcasts, etc., recounting your glories. Thousands more could be there, and yet they would still be skimming the surface of the oceanic depths of your transcendental character, integrity, compassion, and devotion to Krishna. So there are so many things I could thank you for. The root of all of them is the gift of the ability to remember Krishna. Without Krishna consciousness, this world is so poor, so sick and mad, having devised a culture of divorce from anything divine and harmonious, from that which is truly benevolent, and cutting itself off from that which brings forth abundance. Life itself in all its forms has become so cheap. I'd like to thank you for taking me out of that world and giving me the wealth of Krishna consciousness in the Association of Guru, Sadhu and Sastra. Life is... Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll go back up here. Let's see. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for taking me out of that world and offering me the wealth of Krishna consciousness in the association of your devotees, the Prabhupada Nugas. It came to me so easily, yet it was the result of your austerities, sacrifices, persevering through adversities and suffering in the body of an old man. Thus I can call out to Krishna. I am thinking that he is not listening. With the association of Guru, Sadhu and Sastra, I can come to know that feeling of separation is actually my connection. Like those footprints in the sand are not our own. They are Krishna's. As my best friend, he appears in his holy name and carries me. He transports me to a deeper understanding or conviction, a deeper meditation on how perfectly and completely loving he actually is. Whatever happens is his arrangement for me, never against me. He's ever trying to wake me up from my misconceptions, my misdirected false ego, from leading me to death and rebirth. Thank you for your mighty words, Srila Prabhupada. what would this age of Kali have been without them? Srila Prabhupada gave us everything. Please use me as your instrument so that others can gain access to your matchless gift. Your servant of your servant.
The translation. Some of us may be familiar with this bhajan. We used to sing it daily. But we can apply it to Srila Prabhupada. Gurudev, O spiritual master, give to this servant just one drop of mercy. I am lower than a blade of grass. Give me all help. Give me strength. Let me be as you are, without desires or aspirations. I offer you all respects. For this I may have the energy to know you correctly. Then, by chanting the holy name in great ecstasy, all my offences will cease. When will such mercy fall to this one who is weak and devoid of intelligence? Allow me to be with you. If you examine me, you will find no qualities. Your mercy is all that I am made of. If you are not merciful unto me, I can only weep, and I will not be able to maintain my life. Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya Korveda Se Janapikatina Kripa Bindudiya Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya Korveda Se Janapikatina Sakala Sahane Paladia Koro Nijamanis Priyahina Sakala Sahane Paladia Koro Nijamanis Priyahina Sakale Saman Korite Shakati Dehonata Jata Sakale Saman Korite Shakati Dehonata Jata Abito Gaibo Harinama Suke Aparada Vihata Abito Gaibo Harinama Suke Aparada Vihata Abheno Kripa Labhyai Jana Kritarta Hoy Vinata Abheno Kripa Labhyai Jana Kritarta Hoy Vinata Shakti buddhi namayati din toro mori atmasata. Shakti buddhi namayati din toro mori atmasata. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pa tomara karuna sara. Yogyata vichare kichu nahi pa tomara karuna sara. Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya prananara kiboada. Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya prananara kiboada. Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya Koro Etase Chinapekatina. Gurudev Kripa Bindudiya Koeta se Pinapeka Tina. Gurudev Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja Mahotsav ki. So at 6 o'clock, Prabhupada's feast will be offered to him. We'll have a time for some Vyasa Puja offerings. Has anybody written something they'd like to read out this morning? Not written anything, but say something. Okay, so then we're open to talk as well.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, the 9 processes of devotional service you have given are many and varied. No matter what your stage of life or external circumstances, there is always a way of holding on to the Lotus feet and connecting with Sri Krishna. Over the last couple of years, my association has been limited to a handful of good devotee friends and virtual association of the Vaishnava world. I am grateful to you for bringing them into my life due to our mutual connection with you. It was a different route and required personal endeavour to stay in touch, and as you know, I was not always successful in that. Over the last few weeks, like new blossoms in springtime, the joys of communal kirtan have re-emerged in my life. How wonderful was it to have so many devotees chanting and dancing together last night after so long. Again, this was only possible by your mercy. Otherwise, hope would be no of Lord Chaitanya's glory and sanctity. Several years ago, or maybe it was a couple of decades, I wrote an offering to you asking that I would always be of use to you in your mission. I have found as my life goes on that the doors to some of my services have closed, but I've also found that other ones have opened up. So again, I renew my request that you always find some use for me. Please bless my attempts to try to be your servant. That many such wonderful things can be said and hope that we can always keep these service and we offer up the sovereign.
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Charani Vishesha Srinivadi Ashtachara Shatarani. My dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my most humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to your divine grace. It is because of you and your devotion to spreading Krishna consciousness to the West that I am here at Karuna Bhavan, seeking the shelter and association of the Vaishnavas. One devotee friend just asked me if I've ever had any devotional dreams, and I was reminded of a dream I had a few months ago where I was walking beside you and you took my hand. You assured me everything would be okay. The sincerity and sweetness of that assurance I still feel today. Srila Prabhupada, I am so fallen. Again and again I fall, and fall again I will. Prabhupada, I beg, please stay with me by my side as you were in that dream. Please. You're the most incredible being I have ever known. I love and want to serve you and pray for the humility to accept your blessings and love and serve you more. Humble years, servant of the servant of the servant, 100 times down the servant. Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, lover of the gopis, Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada. Everything that my Vyasa Puja offerings these days are about cows. And actually, everything I know about cows, I got from you. When I first read the Bhagavad Gita, I came across the word Goraksha, just one little word there. First time I read the Bhagavad Gita, I couldn't make head or tail of it. I was used to reading fluffy yoga books. And suddenly this book of magnitude, with all these deep details. So I met the devotees. Their association was able to enable me to unlock the secrets that was lying there in those books. And there's many secrets that I found in cow protection. The word Goraksha is one of those words that we say in cow protection. It's actually a very dynamic word. And I found that its placement in the Bhagavad Gita is very significant. It's in the Vaishya Dharma, those who are merchants, those who are productive. Krishna Goraksha Vani and Vaishya Karma Svavajan. In other words, cow protection is meant to be something productive for society, meant to feed society. This is something that we talk about a lot. It isn't good for us. It needs to be dynamic, it needs to be a solution to the world. That's what we place in our Gita. Placement for social reform, placement for social movements. And I find that actually it's interesting because I don't know all the kind of other spiritual leaders talk about cow protection, but what you have said is very empowering. In your books, in your letters, in your conversations, you're shaping a way that we ourselves can interact with cow protection. And you are saying that, for example, one of the things that every temple should have a farm. Now, we've heard this many times over the decades, but yet as a society we haven't really given it the practical shape. We haven't drawn that connection between farms and temples. So in one sense, we're quite vulnerable now as a society because we have the highest philosophical ethics about animal welfare, but yet we're not really able to demonstrate it to the world how we ourselves are living it. So there's a great, but your words are powerful. And what I note about yourself is that you're completely fearless. You say things that are completely mind-boggling. For example, we say, well, what about the bulls? Anyone who wants to start talking about breeding cows and producing milk, you're left with half the herd of a bull. What are you going to do? So you didn't give us that. You didn't let us off the hook. Here we are in the 21st century. You said things that are completely anti-social to the 21st century. You said, what about the problem for the bull? And you gave some advice. You said, well, agriculture, cultivate the land. And you said, 10 miles this way, village preaching, 10 miles this way, 10 miles that. In other words, someone posed us a problem and you gave a solution actually very scary, actually. As a society, to actually give it practical shape, it requires huge mental resources to make that choice. Particularly the manner where I spent most of my spiritual life. You made an indication that they should take the vegetables into central London to sell them by ox cart. So imagine it's like taking food from here, from Lesmahago, to the outskirts of Glasgow, to walk there by ox carts. So did you mean it? I think you meant it. I think you were serious that you wanted us to take the bullock cart into London with vegetables and then walk them back overnight or something the next day. And the point was that that was the idea. You travel overnight and the vegetables the next day. So you said these very, very incredible things for us to try to follow. Just imagine if we had done this. Just imagine if our farms had followed what you said to the letter. We would be a powerful example to the world, where we're actually fulfilling and showing the world that cow protection is important to us. But today we're feeling vulnerable because we're not living this, we're not showing this. Therefore, there are other people who are kind of propagandists, and we're feeling victimized by them because we are not showing the world how cow protection is relevant to them. So you're not giving us many easy things to do. There are many easy things you give us to do. You say chant Hare Krishna, but the path of being a pure devotee is not so easy. And similarly, the path of establishing a relevant cow protection project for relevant to us as a society, to us as a community of devotees, and to the world is also not easy. But somewhere there, we have to try our best to manifest these jewels that you're offering to the world. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Is there anyone else who would like to read an offering or say a few words to Prabhupada? Okay. Rabindranath, and then Haridarshan, and Devika, so and so.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, I offer my humble obeisances at your divine lotus feet. All glories on your auspicious Vyasa Puja day. Omagyantam Ramdasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshuram Malitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srila Prabhupada, this is a spontaneous offering, so please forgive me. So when you were crossing the ocean on the Jaladuta, I was not yet 2 years old, and so I knew nothing about what was happening, about your divine movement into the Western world. And as I grew up, you had already attracted your army of young Western disciples and devotees to help you establish the movement of Krishna consciousness in the Western world, which is in such great danger. And so, like, the next thing, when I was quite young, in my young years, I remember often going into Glasgow city centre and coming home with Back to Godhead magazines and Prabhupada books. Of course, I was bumping into the devotees, surely devotees who were here at Karuna Bhavan, I'm sure. In fact, I think it was before that, so it was before the days of Karuna Bhavan, but they were somewhere anyway. So the great Vaishnavas, and I'm blessed to be here in the association of such advanced Vaishnavas and devotees that we're finding here at Karuna Bhavan in Scotland. But yet, even though I was reading those purports full of great magic and how they were awakening my soul, still I was chasing after all these pieces of shining glass. And later on, by the great mercy, then finally, I was dragged to the position where I had to. There was nowhere else to go but to the temple, finally to meet the devotees and surrender to the process, surrender through your empowered spiritual master. Great mercy, but still occasionally like chasing after pieces of shining glass in that process. And I remember one day approaching one of the sannyasis in this movement and saying, how wonderful this Krishna consciousness movement is. But he said, yes, but how deep are you willing to go? How deep are you willing to look into your heart and surrender? So you said in your purport, Srila Prabhupada, so many times you said about this. Well, two things. One is about the diabolical condition of the world, how the abhorrent behavior of all those administrators of the world, how they brought it into the greatest danger, but also constantly reminding us about the beautiful jewel of the knowledge of Krishna and the process of devotional service by which we can attain his lotus feet. So you say, like in the Vedic wisdom, it's very much advised to move towards the light and to avoid going towards the darkness. So in Back to Godhead magazine, Godhead is light, Nescience is darkness. So that unfortunately, I was still like looking into the darkness, chasing after pieces of broken, shining glass. But now I find myself here, and for the first time after some years in the ashram environment, suddenly outside of that protective environment, and very much in the world of, in a very dangerous position at this time, due to the bad habits and bad and the lack of God consciousness of the administrators of this world, so we are in a very dangerous position. But still, we have the books, and all that nectar is there. We only need a short time reading your purport, Srila Prabhupada, and we lift up above that darkness and we see that light. So moving in the direction and always trying to give that to others as well. Trying. So I ask for your blessings that I continue to be of some service somewhere. And now at this new Vedanta Center in England, in the East Midlands, soon there will be agriculture and cows. And let's see where it all goes. It's all a very interesting time. And we have this network in Britain now, this wonderful eco farm here in Scotland and several other places in the country where this cow protection is becoming established, and agriculture. Finally, we all awake to the reality that we have to. There's nowhere else now. There are no more pieces of shining glass to find. There's only one reality, is that we have to demonstrate what Krishna consciousness is in this world and give it to people, and live in a very simple way by growing our own food and utilizing mother cow and father bull to move forward. So this is what we hear that Dhruva Maharaj, he's this example. He said, I was looking for pieces of shining glass, but I found a shimmering, shining jewel. So this is the example of the pure devotee. So we can understand that eventually we just need to endeavor and hold Krishna in our heart, and then we find the shining jewel and we stop looking for bits of shimmering glass. So all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and all glories to the Vaishnava devotees here in Karuna Bhavan. Jai Krishna. Jai Darshan.
Dear Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for taking so much pain to spread the Krishna consciousness in the whole world. Even though you underwent 2 heart attacks, you didn't give up. You suffered so much because it was your spiritual master's order. I am lucky because in my childhood, I came to know about you and your disciples. From childhood, I was going to a Krishna consciousness school, but now I'm here in Scotland. I was also going to a Gurukul in Pune. Prabhupada, you have really built a house where the whole world can live. We have an amazing Iskcon temple in Scotland where we are getting Association of Devotees. On the auspicious occasion of your 126th appearance day anniversary, I am begging you to help me in my bhakti and guide me to the path of Krishna consciousness. Your servant of the servant of the servant, Hari Darshan.
Srila Prabhupada ki. Anyone else?
Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances at your lotus feet. I haven't written anything for you today, but I thought of a few points that I would like to appreciate. First thing I was thinking on the way here today, that today and yesterday they're inspiring, but they're challenging days. And the reason I find them challenging yet inspiring is because on those days it becomes more clear and apparent that the focus is meant to be on you and on Krishna. And that really shows me how much my focus is usually not there where it should be, and more on myself and what I want to do. So on the way here today, I could feel the potency as we approach Karuna Bhavan. I could feel the potency of the festival day that's yours and of the Association of Devotees. And I was feeling very grateful to have this opportunity to come here today. And another thing I've been appreciating recently is that since I joined, I've been reading in your books and hearing you stress again and again the importance of the Association of Devotees. And I've always accepted that, but never so much as over the last couple of months. And I think sometimes you have to either slightly lose something or at least have it diminished to really appreciate it. So for the last 25 years, I've been in one community in Ireland at Innisrath. And then 3 months ago, we moved to Lincoln to take up service at the new Vedanta Retreat Center. And for the first time in 25 years, I wasn't surrounded by a community of devotees. There's only 3 of us there at the moment, although hopefully more are coming. And then just 2 weeks into being there, we had our first external retreat, and one impersonalist speaker brought a group of 130 people there to hire out the facility. And there was 130 people there interested in hearing spiritual talks. But it struck me so clearly that there's such a vast difference between people who are so-called interested in spiritual life and between the sweet association of devotees who have bhakti in their heart. And I tried to connect with them and relate with them. And there were some nice people, and we got the opportunity to do kirtan twice with about 20 people who requested it from us, which made it all really special. And they had prasadam every day. But I was left with an appreciation of devotees that I never had before. And I couldn't wait till the next time devotees were coming to the retreat center. Also, just recently we had the Pandavasena retreat for the young children 11 to 16. And my nephew and 2 of his friends came, and they're 3 boys, 12 years old. And they weren't interested in Krishna consciousness so much. And they were even saying they were atheists. And yet during that trip, they were dancing up and down in kirtan with their arms in the air, looking blissful. And since they've gone back to Ireland, one of the boys has asked his mum, "Can we chant japa together in the morning, please, mum?" And she's nearly falling over in shock, because for years all he's wanted to do is play the Xbox and be on his computer. So I can see how powerful the Association of Devotees is. And I can see how so many of your instructions, we can take many years to appreciate just how deep they are and how important they are. So I'm very thankful to be here with all of these senior devotees today, advanced devotees, and sincere souls, and praying that the Vedanta Retreat Center grows and that we attract more devotees there and it becomes eventually a devotee community. And just one last thing, Srila Prabhupada, I was feeling today on the way here that it's taken me many, many years of hearing your classes, hearing other classes, and reading your books to feel that I've really started to begin to understand how, despite so many things that you say that may appear to contradict in different ways, that the real essence of what you're saying is that the most important thing is to facilitate people to come to Krishna consciousness. And you had the special gift of knowing how that would be for each person and knowing exactly how to relate to everyone from where they were at. And it's helped me to grow my appreciation of what the essence of your mood is to help in any way to bring someone to Krishna consciousness. So thank you, Srila Prabhupada, and thank you to the devotees here today. Hare Krishna.
ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानदिनाञ्चलाकया चक्षुरोन्मिलितं तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्कुलं कायते गिरिं कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदेवताय. Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. It's been, I thought I will not speak today, but because I haven't written. And I asked Prabhu has given kindly permission that we can speak even spontaneously. It's been many, many years that I've been here in Scotland Temple celebrating Janmashtami. So very grateful for the opportunity. Although many years back, the realization was different. As we grow older and chant and hear and read from your books, the understanding is getting more crystallized, and association with Vaishnavas in Scotland, and also the, of course, of the Iskcon movement in general, and especially my heart is I feel like home here, because when I was a student, we were here with Jayat Prabhu, only two people, but Jayat Prabhu's commitment was very in Namahata. We have a program every Tuesdays, the very place where you have spoken in Scotland. So we always do that, and it inspires how important that the love for Krishna and the spiritual master to give that to others. And Prabhupada Prana Prabhu, there are many devotees at that time, but now Prabhupada Prana Prabhu and my best friend Raghunath Prabhu, is one of the spiritual friend whom I can share spiritual topics with, peer level, very simple devotee. So such a wonderful gifts you gave me, and I can't even thank how many lifetime I've taken, still will not be able to pay the debts that I incurred through this process. The most important thing, because the purpose today, I wanted to offer a spontaneous presentation, spontaneous presentation of my heart to you, is because there are so many grihasthas here, and it's very important that I express so that we can all grow together. As a grihastha, we have got duties to discharge every day, and it is a very contaminating service. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Vidyaraval is a song. This Gada is tired. The donkey is tired, going through so many things. Dealing with a completely materialistic mentality, but your teachings through Bhagavad Gita, like a tortoise, which can withdraw the senses if you don't want to participate, and that was very powerful instruction. I use it, and somehow that what do you call it? The materialism should not affect, and I pray every day, because it's very difficult to go through. And seeing the grihasthas here, I always speak with Raghunath Prabhu about this Daivi Varnashrama, which is participating through cow protection is coming up, and so many grihasthas are living here, and it is my aim, 10 years of my grihastha ashrama is over, another maybe 10-15 years, then we can become vanaprastha soon, hopefully when the children grow up. And we have to have that, you gave us the platform where we can practice so that we don't fall down. That is what which is very inspiring. Yesterday the children were all participating in a different Krishna conscious activities, and we initially, when we started, we will be thinking Krishna consciousness is just feasting and dancing, but it is more about internal cleansing of the heart, which takes place through chanting, hearing, association with your disciples, and thereby getting that understanding of going back to Godhead is not a sentimental act. It's a continuous surrender and Rakshisha Vishwasha, that feeling Krishna, Krishna is a protector that we can understand, but it's Lord who is maintaining. To understand that, it's a very big struggle. Even today, I think I am giving my children food, but it is not. One pandemic made me realize more better how Krishna is maintaining. It's up to the surrender. Only the surrender makes us more deeper devotees, and that is what you give us. So I pray, that's my one sincere prayer, because when you offer a Vaishnavas, we can ask one humble prayer, is that all the grihasthas should keep, we all keep our house like a temple, in which Prabhu said 10 miles here there, which remind my childhood when I was small. My grandfather used to say in Tamil, Kovil Saranda Kudi, Kudi Saranda Kovil, means the temple is an integral part of the community, and community is integral part of the temple. And you have done everything, that is education. Gurukula was to happen in temple, but here we come here, we here to study. So you made that happen, and we get prasadam, which is cooking, and then there's garland. So there is so many services the people do, but big temples are failing, which you re-establish everywhere in the world. Wherever Prabhupada's temples are, is still maintaining that purities, because the process has been given so simple and it is so adaptable to the current situation. So I sincerely pray that Grastas, all of us, surrender very sincerely and open our house to all. Let all the people feel that what you have given us. Although we can't directly give, I totally admit the fallen position, and we could not able to do what devotees in the temple do. But still, like a squirrel does for Lord Ram, we will endeavor, and I pray that you give us the strength and give us all the families and the children to cooperate and understand this wonderful philosophy. And with that humble prayer, thank you, Srila Prabhupada, and all the devotees. Thank you very much.
Is anyone else would like to say dreams?
Dear Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. I have no ability to write an offering to your lotus feet, but still I am making this poor attempt to do it for my own purification. Going back to 1995, when I got admission in college, I never knew it was not just getting admission to engineering, but it was the admission to my spiritual life. After completing my college education, I could get admission further education to the same place. And one of my god brother used to do arti and do preaching. And one day I just went to hostel to meet my friend, and somehow he invited me to attend evening program. That day was turning point in my life. I liked the program and started knowing about Iskcon and Krishna consciousness more and more. After some days, uh, I moved to hostel and attending his evening programs. Then started reading your small books like Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers. That was in Gujarati. Now the turning point comes here. Once, just in the previous night of Diwali, I went to go for sleep, and in the midnight, what I could see, Srila Prabhupada, it was none other than yourself. I can still remember your lotus feet and strong body. You gave me some small books in Gujarati, and the top one was Purna Prashna Purna Uttaro. That is the same book, Perfect Questions and Perfect Answers, which I had reading. I was reading. I didn't know we should greet a sannyasi with Dandvat Pranam. I just folded my hands and told to you, Prabhupada, in the dream, I will not get these books in free, but will pay for them. You replied, I am giving you these books, read these books and preach. Then you started going away. You came back again and told me, बहुत लोग आएंगे तुम्हें इस भक्ति मार्ग से भटकाने के लिए, पर तुम्हें भटकना नहीं है. Many people will come to deviate you from this path of devotion, but you don't have to go away. I will never forget those most precious moments in my life. That dream changed my life. I never think it was a dream, but seeing yourself personally and getting personal instructions from yourself. Just very next day, I left drinking tea, coffee, and started chanting some more rounds. When I went back after the vacation to my home, I tried to find Iskcon Center, and one day I could meet one old devotee, which was around 70 years. He gave me the books in the same way you had given to me, and the top one was again the same, Purna Prashno, Purna Uttaro, perfect question, perfect answers. I asked to pay the price for the books like in dream and said, I'm giving, and the devotee told me, I'm giving you these books, read these books and preach in the same way you told me in the dream. I literally started crying hearing this. When I told him about my dream to him, he also started crying and showed me two cupboards full of books. I mean, I'm talking about the devotee, and asked me to get as much as books as I want. I got many books and gave some donation. I tried to find him on my next visit, but unfortunately, I never could find him, his flat, and him. It was just a miracle happened to my life. Then, after a couple of years, I got initiation from my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Navayogan Swami Maharaj. I'm very much thankful to you, Prabhupada, to give me such a bona fide Guru in my life. Not sure what would have happened otherwise. I have never heard any lecture of him in which he didn't mention about yourself and your pastimes. Srila Prabhupada, my utmost desire is to engage myself more and more in your preaching mission as per your orders you gave me in my dream some 20 years back. I will try my best for the same once I'll maybe go back to India. My humble request, please engage me in your mission with my body, mind, and soul. On this auspicious day of Vyasa Puja, I am begging for forgiveness of my aparadhas, which I have committed knowingly or unknowingly to your lotus feet, as well as to all my God brothers, sisters, and all the devotees here. Because of my imperfect senses and fault finding nature. Srila Prabhupada, thanks again for showering your unlimited mercy on myself and my family members. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, your most fallen servant Adi Kavidas.
If there's no one else that would like to ask Vrinda to come up and sing, we were supposed to chant Guru Vastak a bit earlier, but we can do that just now. Normally, it's not considered right to worship someone in front of the deities on Vyasa Puja. Then we can do that. We can worship Prabhupada in front of the deities. So simultaneously, we'll be doing Prabhupada's Arti and Gora. So we'll start off by chanting Guru Vastak. And then we'll continue with some kirtan minus the harmonic. So the Arti to Srila Prabhupada will start at the same time as Gora Arti. Gandaki's going to offer that. And we have another garland, and devotees can come and offer flowers to Srila Prabhupada as well.
Samsaritava nananita loka Janaya kanyana gana ganatvam Praptasya kalyana gunanavasya Vande Guru Shri Janadavindam Mahaprabhu Kirtana Nitya Gita Vaditya Madhyan Manasoda Sena Romanchakam Patsutarangabhajo Vande Guru Sri Charnadavindam. Chivigrahananandichanana Chingaratan Mandira Majanado Nitasya Bhaktam Janiyan Jatopi Vande Guru Sri Charnadavindam. Chatuvita Sri Bhagavad Prasada Sadhana Chitan Hari Bhakta Sangam. Kriteva Chiptem Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Sri Charnadavindam. Shri Radhika Madhava Yoda Pada Madhya Lila Guna Rupa Nam. Pratikshana Swadana Lolupasya Vande Guru Sri Charnadavindam. Nikanjayu no Ratikani Sejai Yaya Nipi Yaktira Pekshaniya. Chatati Dakshadati Balabhasya Vande Guru Sri Charnadavindam. Sakshadharitvena samasta sastre Uktastata bhavyate vasadhi. Kintu praboya priya eva tasya Vande Guru Sri Charnadavindam. Yasya prasadat bhagavad prasado Yasya prasadan nagati kutopi Daya Subham Satyam Yasastri Sandhyam Vande Guru Sri Charnaravindam Namah.
If everyone likes to stand for arti, you can offer flowers to Prabhupada.
Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutane Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaunavani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Vasyachate Shatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Prasad Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschachate Shatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hari Ramo, Hari Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hari Hari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Kodani Jai, Jaya Maya Kotachi, Jaya Kodani Jai, Jaya Maya Kotachi. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. John Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parabhakticharya Asatosha Chachishi Mat, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Iskcon Bhakti Founder Charge Srila Prabhupada ki. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Premsa Kahoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivedanta ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Shri Guru Govardhan ki jai. Shri Mathura Vrindavan ki jai. Shri Navadvip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Nilachal Chakranath Puri Dham ki jai. Shri Karunabam Dham ki jai. Gangamai Jamunamai ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsimarani ki jai. Shrimati Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Haranam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Prabhupada's Sri Mahapradanga's Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Shri Transcendental Prasad Distribution ki jai. Shri Haranam Prabhu ki jai. Vaishnav Seva Vaishnav Sangha ki jai. Iskcon Govinda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Praladayini. Hiranyakashipu Vakshaha. Srila Chankana Kalaye. Icho Nisinga Paracho Nisinga. Yacho Yacho Yami Chacho Nisinga. Bahir Nisingo Ridaye Nisingo. Risingamadim Sharanam Prapadi. Tavakara Kamalavare Nakam Adhuta Shringa Jalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringham Keshavadvita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadichare Jaya Jagadichare Jaya Jagadichare. Keshavadvita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadichare Jaya Jagadichare Jaya Jagadichare. Keshavadvita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadichare Jaya Jagadichare Jaya Jagadichare. Jaya Nitsingare, Jaya Nitsingare, Nitsingare, Jaya Nitsingare. Jaya Nitsingare, Jaya Nitsingare, Nitsingare, Jaya Nitsingare. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada Sanabhav Mahamahotsava ki, Jai Gaura Premanandi.
Thanks everyone for coming along to celebrate Srila Prabhupada's appearance with us today. I'd just like to finish up by I heard one conversation Prabhupada actually it was in one Vyasa Puja ceremony that Prabhupada's disciples had for him, and the devotees had been glorifying Srila Prabhupada, and in his genuine Vaishnava humility, he didn't accept any of the glory for himself. This is whatever Prabhupada did, he was Acharya, he was always teaching us by example. You can ask yourself, how many times when someone glorifies some quality of us do we think, finally somebody's noticing? That's a material consciousness. We're always thinking, how will people notice me? But the spiritual master, he's always thinking that everything's happened by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So the devotees had been glorifying Srila Prabhupada, and the voice choked with emotion. Prabhupada said, actually, and Prabhupada really meant this. He wasn't just putting it on to make out, that he was humble or something. He was saying, actually, it wasn't until the fag end of my life that I did anything, Prabhupada was really feeling that he'd waited to the last years in his life. And of course, as was being mentioned earlier on, that normally when people get, I think it was Raghunath mentioned in his offering, that when people get to that age, they actually think of slowing down, not stepping things up, and not stepping things up to the scale of starting a worldwide spiritual movement in Kali Yuga, in a country which you've never been to, and you don't even know if you're going to get food to eat. And you've got no money in your pocket, and you don't know when you're going to get back, or how you'll be received. So such bravery and faith in the order of the spiritual master. And not only did he give all credit to his Guru Maharaj, but also to his disciples. He said, it's only because of you boys and girls that I'm able to fulfill the order of my Guru Maharaj. He's sent you along. He's kindly sent you along. So this is a great lesson for us also. That Srila Prabhupada, he sailed across the ocean so that we could sail across the ocean of nescience and go back to Godhead. And if we can try to remember that every day so that we don't forget the great fortune that we have. Sometimes it's easy to forget that, we get caught up in material life. But just keep the holy name there. Keep reading Prabhupada's books. By reading Prabhupada's books, you're associating with Prabhupada. And this is what makes you strong in spiritual life. The more you read Prabhupada's books, the more you associate with them. Have you ever experienced that when you're in association, even physically in association of some elevated soul, then you feel purified, you feel your doubts vanishing, etc. So this is what happens when we read Prabhupada's books. We get purified, his words are none different from him. And now we'd like to honour the cooks' hard work by taking prasadam, which they have lovingly cooked for the last quite a few hours for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada, the deities and the devotees. And just before we do that, then Chagu wanted me to make an announcement that the Iskcon Edinburgh webpage is now live. So how would they access that if anybody wants to? Okay, Iskcon.edinburgh.org, that's easy enough to remember, isn't it? And so we just encourage everybody to do a little something in relation to spreading Lord Chaitanya's mission. Prabhupada was very grateful for his disciples doing that, and of course they knew that they would do nothing without his empowerment. This is the reciprocation between the spiritual master and the followers. And Prabhupada said he lives on with the followers. So one who if you want to find me, Prabhupada said, 2 places you'll find him. Can anyone mention one or both? You find him in his books, that's right. And another place you'll find him. Radha Damodar Temple. Yeah. That's where it kind of all started, isn't it? Prabhupada got the instruction to come to the West from Rupa Goswami, says now's the time. Of course, before that it started, his Guru Maharaj gave him that instruction. But yeah, if we want to become stronger in spiritual life, then the more we read Prabhupada's books, the more stronger we'll become. Just like we were chanting that verse, O He Vaishnav Thakur, that alone I have no strength to chant the holy name of the Lord, to spread the holy name, Harinama Sankirtani. But so therefore we're begging Prabhupada, we're begging our own spiritual masters to give us the strength that we can engage in this activity, because we are going against the grain here in the material world. Material world is set up to forget Krishna, but through the chanting of the holy name, reading Prabhupada's books, and taking and distributing prasad, we remember Krishna. Iskcon Guru Govinda ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Sri Koti Mahaprasad Srila Prabhupada ki.